For years, World of Warcraft has been the king of the subscription-based MMOs, and it's easy to see why. This titan of a game has been regularly updated with new content since its release in November 2004, which is hugely impressive for a title that's almost 20 years old, and it has something for everyone. Whether you're into questing, exploring dungeons, or engaging in a spot of PvP, there's a World of Warcraft of enjoyment to be found. With that said, there are loads of other games out there that are equally deserving of your time and hard-earned money, so the next time your WoW subscription is about to renew, why not consider chucking a few pennies in the direction of one of the games on this list instead? For clarity, all of the following have some sort of monthly subscription model, but pretty much all of them can be played without it, and we will confirm in each entry what you can expect to receive for your moolah. I'm that presenter you can unlock for $9.99 per month plus tax, Ben from TripleJump, and here are 10 great subscription-based games that aren't World of Warcraft. Number 10. Fallout 76. Now, before we light the torches and pitchforks, just hear me out, alright? Did Fallout 76 have the most successful launch in gaming history? No, not by a country mile and then some. But have Bethesda been working tirelessly in the years since to improve the game to a point where it's actually worth playing? They most certainly have. Fallout 76 serves as a prequel to the other Fallout titles. The game takes place in 2102, some 25 years after a nuclear war that devastated the Earth. The player character is an inhabitant of Vault 76, and the game begins on Reclamation Day, where they exit the vault and begin to recolonize the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Upon its release, things to do in Fallout 76 were few and far between, but loads of content has since been added, and there are now a ton of quests to embark on, competitive seasons, and even a Battle Royale mode. Fallout 76 can be played without a subscription, and so you can have a smashing time without shelling out any extra dough. The Fallout First subscription is there to enhance the experience and gives players the ability to set up private adventures for themselves and up to 7 friends, 1,650 atoms per month, the scrap box which gives unlimited storage for crafting components, and much, much more. Number 9. EverQuest. We come now, ladies and gentlemen and others, to the very oldest game on our list. In fact, by video game standards, EverQuest is probably about ready to draw its pension, having been around since 1999. EverQuest was the first successful 3D MMORPG, inspired many imitators, and is considered by many to be amongst the best video games of all time. These days, its gameplay will seem very standard for an MMO, but at the time of its release, it was quite revolutionary, and although EverQuest's player base has declined over the years, it's still very much worth a play, especially if you want to experience a slice of gaming history. If you so wish, you can play EverQuest completely free, or you can upgrade the experience by signing up to the Daybreak All Access membership. This gives players a number of different EverQuest benefits, including 6 additional character slots and full guild functionality, plus benefits for EverQuest 2, PlanetSide 2, and DC Universe Online. If you're feeling really flush, you can even add extra perks for an additional fee, which range from a 5% experience bonus to discounts on loyalty items. You know what they say, you gotta spend money to make money, or in this case, save money. Number 8. Albion Online. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live through medieval times, and in particular those of Arthurian legend? Well, thanks to Albion Online, you need wonder no longer. Originally released in 2017, Albion Online is a medieval fantasy RPG that plonks players into a world of sword and sorcery. Unlike traditional MMOs where you start out by picking a class, characters in Albion Online are defined by the armor they're wearing and the weapons they're carrying, meaning that if you get bored of being a wizard, you're only a quick costume change away from becoming a knight. If only a real-life career change were that simple. The game's vast open world is home to bundles of activities, so regardless of whether you're the sort of player that enjoys tense PvP or one that simply prefers to kick back on the farm, there's something for you. You can get started with Albion Online without having to pay a single penny, but if you're super into it, the game can be enhanced with a premium subscription. If you shell out monthly, you'll be granted bonuses to fame, gathering gold, and crop yield, plus learning points, focus points, and a reduced market tax. Lower taxes for the biggest spenders? Pfft, wouldn't happen in real life. Number 7. Second Life. Do you wish that you could combine all of the fun of an MMORPG with the social experience of services like Facebook? No? Me neither, but there are some people out there to whom that premise sounds ideal, and those people are all playing Second Life, the multimedia platform from developer Linden Lab. Second Life bears a lot of similarities to role-playing games, but Linden Lab are absolutely adamant that it isn't one. Like an MMORPG, players create an avatar, explore the world, and participate in various activities, but unlike traditional MMOs, there is no story, conflict, or set objective of any kind. Basically, players create a persona for themselves and then go out into Second Life's world and do whatever makes them happy. Second Life is free to play, but a paid subscription is available. The premium tier offers players weekly in-game cash rewards, access to VIP areas, voice morphing, and concierge support, meaning that if you ever have an issue with the game, there will be someone right there to help you out. It's probably the closest any of us mere mortals will ever get to having a personal assistant. Number 6. EVE Online. If Second Life isn't really your thing, and let's face it, one life is quite enough, thank you very much, perhaps you'd have a better time with EVE Online, CCP Games' MMORPG that's set in the vast expanse of space. After you've created your character, choosing from one of 4 available races and several different bloodlines, you'll have the opportunity to explore over 5,000 different star systems and 2,500 wormholes, which is sure to keep you busy for, I don't know, at least a week. Aside from exploring, players can take part in mining, combat, trading, and even piracy. And if all that isn't enough for you, then EVE Online even has its own complex economy to wrap your head around. You've probably started to notice a bit of a pattern with the games on this list, and like all of our previous entries, EVE Online is free to play, but also offers players a monthly subscription if they so wish. Upgrading to Omega, which is admittedly not cheap, gives players access to advanced skills, the ability to upgrade skills much faster, a huge range of ships, and the contract system of trading. Number 5. The Elder Scrolls Online. Fallout 76 isn't the only Bethesda game to get off to a shaky start in life, as upon its release in 2014, The Elder Scrolls Online also received a fairly tepid response from critics. Since its launch, the studio has improved it massively, and the game is now very much worth players' time. Like the rest of the Elder Scrolls titles before it, The Elder Scrolls Online takes place on the continent of Tamriel, but is set some 1,000 years before the events of Skyrim. The main storyline tells of the betrayal of Varan Aquilarios by Manimarco, the latter of whom promises the former that he will help to retrieve the Amulet of Kings before turning on his companions. If that isn't of interest to you though, ESO has plenty of other stuff to do, including multiplayer dungeons, crafting, and fishing. As with Fallout 76, the subscription for The Elder Scrolls Online is optional, and the game can be played successfully without it. However, if you do subscribe to ESO Plus, you'll get tons of cool perks, including unlimited storage for crafting items, 1,650 crowns per month, and access to most of the game's DLC. Number 4. RuneScape. If you were a bit of a nerd in high school, then it's probably a safe bet that you spent at least a little bit of time playing RuneScape. Mostly because it was likely one of the few websites that could get through your school's strict content controls, but also because it was quite good fun. It may surprise some of you to know that RuneScape is still going strong today, and that it's still a fine example of a premium MMORPG. Players start out on Tutorial Island, where they learn the basics of the game before heading out into the main world. What players do after that is really up to them, as there aren't any set goals or objectives. You can level up your skills, fight NPCs and monsties, or trade and chat with other players. The world really is your oyster. The free version of RuneScape has plenty to keep players occupied, but they can unlock far more with a membership. Not only does that monthly subscription grant access to an additional 11 skill lines and more than 200 extra quests, but it also allows players to explore a world that's over 3 times the size of that in the free edition. That alone has to be worth the price of admission. Number 3. The Lord of the Rings Online. According to Northern Treasure Sean Bean, one does not simply walk into Mordor. Whilst this may be true, one can simply walk into the world of Middle-earth. Metaphorically at least, thanks to The Lord of the Rings Online, the 2007 MMORPG that takes place during the time period where Frodo and Sam are attempting to destroy the One Ring. Plot-wise, The Lord of the Rings Online is rather epic. Things kick off soon after the hobbits leave the Shire and players start their adventure in the town of Bree. Initially, they head to Weathertop and Trollshores before becoming embroiled in a campaign to stop the plans of the Witch King. Gameplay is pretty standard MMO fare. You start out by picking a race and class and then get to questing, crafting, and exploring. If you already like all of these things and feel like you'd enjoy them with a Middle-earth twist, then TLOTRO is the game for you. Tlotro. As is the case with pretty much every game on this list so far, you can enjoy much of what The Lord of the Rings Online has to offer for free. But if you want to enjoy perks like priority login, additional inventory slots and wardrobe space, and a weekly gold hobbit present, whatever that is, then you'll need to part with a few coins. Number 2. Star Wars: The Old Republic. Do you have the urge to explore a galaxy far, far away but feel like flying is for droids? Well then, you'll need to get your hands on a copy of Star Wars The Old Republic, the 2011 MMORPG from developer BioWare and publisher EA. Players start out by choosing a species, class, and most importantly, whether they're aligned with the Galactic Republic or the Sith Empire. From there, they advance by embarking on story missions, exploring, and defeating their foes, and as they level up, they can learn new skills. As one would expect from a BioWare title, Star Wars The Old Republic focuses heavily on player choices, and how they react to situations will determine not only whether they're aligned to the dark or light side, but can also affect players' companions and what story missions are open to them. Star Wars The Old Republic is free to play up to level 60, and you can experience the rise of the Hutt Cartel and the Shadow of Revan storylines without having to pay a single penny. However, those looking to play beyond level 60, earn free monthly cartel coins, and enjoy the game's expansions will need to sign up to the monthly subscription. Number 1. Final Fantasy XIV. To say that Final Fantasy XIV has been on a bit of a journey to get where it is something of an understatement. The game was originally released in 2010 but was so badly received by critics and fans that its servers were shut down in 2012. Never once to accept failure, Square Enix developed a brand new game, one where the developers addressed players' concerns, and the Final Fantasy XIV we know and love today was released in 2013. Final Fantasy XIV is set in the land of Eorzea, some 5 years after the events of the OG Final Fantasy XIV. At the end of the 2010 title, the dragon Bahamut escapes from its lunar prison and brings about the 7th Umbral Calamity, an apocalypse that destroys Eorzea. The player character is able to avoid the devastation by time-traveling 5 years into the future, where they must face the threat of the Garlean Empire. By signing up to Final Fantasy XIV's free trial, you can enjoy the game all the way through to level 60. If you want to play beyond that though, then you'll need to treat yourself to a subscription, which gives you full access to the game, plus regular content updates.